Thank you so much, Sadish. Let's go ahead.
Okay. So thanks once again, everybody, and thanks the admin job Adda to give me this opportunity to this for this demonstration. So is my PowerPoint is visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So before I start this PowerPoint, I mean presentation for this ITL 4, I would like to introduce myself. As you all know that my name is Anirban, and I have almost 10 plus years of experience, service experience, mostly into the IT industry. But apart from the IT industry, I have also worked in for manufacturing industry, retail, and many other domains as well. As I've also worked as a specialist in the CRM for the retail CRM and ERP. Uh, uh, from the education background, I have completed my BTech in computer science and also completed my executive MBA from IIM Kashipur in 2019. From certification perspective, I have completed the ITL 4 foundation certification in December 2020, and I also have certification in PMP, CSM1, and IC Agile certified coach. So that's all brief about me. So before I jump to this ITIL, and definitely there we will definitely discuss all these parts. What is ITIL? Why we need this ITIL? What is the definition? How it's evolved? What is the scope and everything? But as Anju correctly mentioned, that before we move into any topic, it's not only about this ITIL or anything, but whenever you people are going to learn anything, you should know that what is the opportunity you will get from that particular learning, because we are all here to this accomplish some objective, right? That's why we just learn these things. Some may enter into the job market, some may want to enhance their career, and many other objective it can have. So just let me give you a preface why this ITL and how you can be benefited from the ITL. So all of us know that what is IT nowadays, right? And it's evolved from the last few decades. And right now, this IT is also evolving with a new technology, this new dimension, and many other things. Even the organization whose operations are not typical into the IT, for example, restaurant or any other things. I mean, shopping and many other segments. I'm not going into details deep into that, but you can understand that what all segments are basically not using the typical IT in the past, but now they have basically automate their operation process using IT. And just because of that, majority of job opportunity are provided by the IT organizations across the globe. Even in India, it's true, and it's true for the global space as well. And for any IT organization, okay, there are basically two segments of IT organization. You can see if you can see from the border terms. Either the IT organizations provide the product or it can provide the services. Though it's true that I mean IT organizations who are basically providing or the this into the product more aligned to the product, they have also the services segment, because whenever we are going to purchase anything, we have to see basically at least myself basically look into that matter, that whether it is after sales service is good or not. So each and every organization has a service segment, and this ITL basically a framework which gives you the idea what is the best practice of the IT service management. So if you are such a person who looking forward to get the most benefit of the job, or the want to grab the best job opportunity from such a big pool, then ITL is a very good course for you. And also it's true for, like, it's true for freshers as well from this perspective, and also from others who are already doing some other job and has a lot of interest to move into the service IT services industry. So definitely knowledge of ITL or certification of ITL will be beneficial for them and give them a spike in their resume. And another point I would like to mention, that the latest version, that is ITIL 4, which borrow the concept, I mean basic concepts from this lean, agile, and from the DevOps as well. So if you are such a kind of person who been a little bit confused that which certification is better for me or better for my career or better to start my career, I would rather say that if you do this certification, ITL certification, you will get at least the basic knowledge of lean, agile, and DevOps, because there are a few principles and practices which are basically borrowed from those I mean things like agile, lean, and DevOps. So now we will see that what it is a basically is not a I mean I'm not going to go very deep into this ITL, but I'm just going to give you an overview that how ITL is all about. Okay, and what are the topics we will cover in the ITL foundation. So first of all, we'll see this definition of ITL. Then we'll see that's why we need the ITL, and then we'll discuss a little bit brief of this or history of the ITL, how it is evolved, how it is generated, and it comes to the ITL 4. Then we'll see what is the importance of ITL. Then where you can apply the ITL, as I already give you a, I mean, little bit of very, this high level thing that how the ITL should be applied, and an exam outline, that is ITL foundation, how the ITL foundation exam and what is the structure, I mean, structure of the question, and how you should you prepare for ITL foundation certification exam. And these are the four topics of this the ITIL foundation. That is key concept of the service management, four dimension of the service management, ITIL service value system, and ITIL practices. These are basically very you can say this is module of the ITIL foundation, and I will give you more detail when I'm going to cover this topic. Okay, because this the basically one module consists of many other subtopics. So I'll go detail when I'm going to give you this details of it. We'll see that how all these things and what all these things stands for. So this presentation is basically, this slide is basically the definition of ITIL. As I mentioned, this ITIL full form is the Information Technology Infrastructure Library, and it's basically a framework. Framework is nothing but a toolkit which gives you a set of best practices, and it helps you to decide which should be, I mean, how you can use it as a tailored method for your project or for your service management, better to say. Because it's toolkit, I'm giving an example for a toolkit. Let's say if you purchase a screwdriver set, okay, and this screwdriver set consists of uh, the screwdriver, which I mean the driver which can open your laptop screw, which can open your watch screw, or which can open your calculator screw. But is that till, I mean, this, whether there is any manual or something will come with that you have to use that in this way, you have to use that in that way? No, they will just give you a manual all about their products, how their product should be preserved, and all these things. But using your own expertise, you have to decide that which driver you have to use along with your handle, screwdriver flexible handle, and you just open these things. Definitely, when the screwdriver or the driver nozzle you are using to open your microwave, definitely you are not going to use to open your laptop, right? Because it will definitely not going to open or not help you in anymore. So similarly, this ITL gives you a set of best practices, and it expects you to apply based on your service design of your organization. Next is its goal is to improve the efficiency and achieve the predictable service delivery. We'll see that how it does. Okay, and it definitely gives you the best practices. How it ensured the best practices? It is basically a proven method. We'll see in the history section how it's evolved one by, I mean, stage by stage. So it's a proven method, and it's accepted by worldwide. So you can use it or you can consider it as a standard, and you can apply it accordingly as per your need. And it helps you to give to manage your business, especially the services business, in a very well manner. And it also helps you to uh, grow your business, or better to say, it helps you to do this continuous improvement. If you're already in the service management business, so it's help you to this continuous improvement. Now we'll discuss this why we need the ITL. So as I mentioned, this it gives you a IT professional or the person who want to move into the services industry. It gives that person a knowledge about the IT best practices. What are the best practices of the service management and the best solution under any situation. So this is the first thing. That's why we need this ITL. Second thing is, as I mentioned, the continuous improvement. It basically helps to improve the IT operation. If you are already in this service, IT service management, or if you are holding any role of the IT service management, definitely it gives you uh, an authentic measure process to help for the continuous improvement. And there are some certain terms which are related to ITIL. Obviously, we will go when you'll go in deep, we'll see these terms like the service management, SLA, okay, incident and problem management and service improvement. And it will definitely help you to give the customer satisfaction. And it will create the ultimate value for your customer. And also help you to give the provide the quality services to your customer. Because if your customer is happy, your business definitely grow with time. That's for sure. Now we'll see that's how the ITL evolves and how it's become the best proven best practices. So basically, ITL has started in late 80s. At that point of time, it was not even written or not documented like this way, because it was a just started as a simple, this practice kind of thing, and it's happened in UK. It's basically introduced by the UK government to manage a little bit of this activities of the data center. The first version of the ITL has come in the 1989, and it is basically uh, recognized by the UK government, and this authorized body, that CCTA, that is United Kingdom Central Computer and Telecommunication Agency, they have approved it, and the first version come in the 1989. And after that, they have started to implement it, because whenever any new things comes into the market, theory is one thing, but when you are going to implement, you have to go in certain and different stages. So various organizations start to this implement these things. They see there are pros, cons, many other things, and with their proper implementation inputs, okay, in 2000 it was revised, and the ITL V2 has comes into the picture with all the refinements and all these things. Okay, so V2 definitely is better than V1. And after V2, it was very popular, and people start to use it. It's not this limited to UK or Europe. Some organizations, or even in the US, this outside the Europe, start to use this V2, and they start to implement it. Maybe in very smaller range, but they have started. And in 2007, with all again, they have come up with all the inputs and all these things. That's what are the pros, cons, what are the difficulties they have faced, and what should be they, if let's say, if they want to implement one particular process based on prescribed by the ITIL V2, and they face these difficulties, so they listed down and they have come up with the suggestion that this could be better if we implement this particular process in that way. So ITL basically, they have an authorized body, they have evaluate these things, and they accept that yes, it if we can apply these things, it could be better. So they have accept this idea is accepted, and with the refine all these things, they have bring the ITL VT in 2007. And again, it will be updated in 2011, another version. And next come to the ITL 4, which basically released between 2019 and 20. Basically 19 they have started, and right now the global best practices company, this is very renowned and well-known company called Excelos. So they have basically uh, governed and oversees the ITL development, and the certification, all the certification are provided by the Excelos. So that's a brief history of the ITL. So you can see this how this process, I mean how this entire thing, or better to say the best practices are evolved over the time with prove and proven by their implementation methods and accepted by the people all over the globe. So that's why we can strongly say that it's a proven result best practice. So you can use it as your toolkit. So that's why ITL is a framework. It's not a guideline. There's a difference between guideline and framework. Guideline means it's kind of SOP that when we are basically checking something, there are some checklist we have to do. We have to mandatorily check all these things. If it is any of the point is basic, it is rejected. Here, ITL is not going to say that you have to design your service or design your strategy like this way. No, it will give you the these are the best practices. Now it's up to you using your own expertise that how you can design these things or how you can strategize your organization strategy for the service management. So this is about a little bit about the ITIL 4, which I've already covered. That is widely accepted best practice framework in IT service management, adopted by majority of organizations and professions across the world. And it's basically facilitate business transformation and growth. As I told you that if you're already in IT service management, definitely ITIL 4 gives you a edge uh, to make you the continuous improvement. I mean, continuous improvement means continuous service improvement. Whatever I'm talking about is related to the services. And it's a ISO standard. So which is part in the part 11. So it's a little bit of the this quality certification about the ITL. Now we will see that's what is the importance of ITL. It's basically acting as a bridge between the IT and business. Okay, so as we all know that there is, if we see any organization, it's in the border term, there is basically two layer in any organization. The layer one is your business layer. Business layer means which related to your finance, which related to HR, marketing, sales, everything. Okay, and another is your IT. In IT layer, there is also two segments. One is your product, another is the support or services. And this ITL is basically works with that support layer, but it has a bridge between this IT entire IT layer and the business layer. Because if we take the example of any service-based company, so this service-based company also have marketing, sales, HR, everything, and that all these things, I mean, operations of all those department should align with the services business. For example, I'm just taking you an example. Let's say the TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. They are basically into this services industry. They are a big player in services industry. So they have all the business departments like account, finance, okay, account or finance, HR. They have marketing, sales, everything. But all of this department should work according to the services which they are basically trade in the market. So this ITL makes a strong alignment between the IT and the business by making a bridge between that. Second point, the achieve greater visibility into the IT cost. Wherever your service management is optimized, you definitely reduce the cost of your service management operations. Because let's say if you need to resolve a particular ticket, let's say customer make a complaint and it's called the ticket usually, and your resource are basically taking this to solve this ticket within 8 hours. But this is not, but you have analyzed and found out that this is not the problem of the competency of the resources, but it is a problem of the process. The practices which you are applying in this organization service management, it's not the best practice. But if you apply the best practices, proven best practices to resolve that ticket, might be closed within 4 hours. So you save the time and as well as you will reduce the cost. So in this way, you can also reduce the cost to and also increase your profit, because the entire amount which you will get from your customer is your total earnings. So if you reduce the cost, definitely your profit will be on the higher side. Third point is improve customer services and quality of services. Definitely, if the ticket is resolved in very soon, the customer will be happy, and they will, and also your quality of service will be good, because ITIL has a also as a it's also prescribe you how you can improve the quality of service. We will see these things in detail later point of time. Minimize the service disruption. If your service management process is optimized, so your services process, I mean support process, is not going to be stuck in very this very often or very frequently. Until analysis a very this out of the box kind of thing, or it's very this very unusual thing, it will minimize your service disruptions, because this your services design strategy, everything is optimized, you are using the best practices. Manage risk and rely on the industry standard, because sometimes when you just want to win some deals from the client, they will ask what are the process you are basically using. Yes, so anybody has any question or anybody try to say something? Okay. So so customer will ask you that what are the this basis of the process what you are using. So if you are saying that we are using we are basically aligned our process or make the compliance of our process is the ITIL, and which is globally accepted, so definitely the customer will understand, yes, they are basically managing the services based on the ITIL best practices, and it's already proven. So you are also rely on the industry standard, and customer will be assured that yes, the process, I mean, whoever I'm going to hire, the process will basically they are follow is the industry standard, so there should not be any kind of problem. Now, the scope of ITL. This slide more or less I have already explained to you that basically there is two layer of the organization in the broader terms, business layer and the IT layer. IT layer basically have two parts, product layer and the services layer. And ITL implementation can only be done with the service layer. For other layer, ITL has no impact. I mean, implementation of ITL has no impact, but yes, it can help you to align your IT and business. But implementation can be applicable only on the service layer, which is basically IT support. Now come to the qualification part. So doing this certification, you will come to know about the this your knowledge about the ITIL, and if you don't do the certification as well, if you haven't significant knowledge, you can represent it in your interview, job interview, Okay, so that there's people who are from the service industry, they should at least know that the person who has come for the interview, have a this basic idea of the service management. So that definitely gives you a little few more points in the interview. Now we'll talk about some ITIL Foundation qualification certification. Here, you'll basically this ITIL Foundation is as its name suggests, it is a foundation. So we are currently over here. So in your career, if you want to this advance and you want to this make progress to this with the ITIL, so you can do two things. Either you can go for the ITIL managing professional, or you will go for the ITIL strategic leader over the ITIL foundation. But ITIL foundation is necessary for that. So to be a ITIL managing professional, you have to complete all this ITIL specialist, this create deliver support, the DSB, ITL specialist, DSB, ITL specialist, high velocity, and also the ITL strategist, just direct plan and improve, so-called DPI. So once you complete this, all this certifications as well on top of ITL foundation, so you will become this ITL managing professional. If you want to be ITL strategic leader, so you have to complete this too. So I would say that it will be more functional. Like if you are more into the strategy, this how to this what will be the strategy for your service management. So you can go with this, or you if you want to move into more into technical part of ITL, I suggest you should go for that. And if that person completed this both, then that person become the ITL master. So basically, the what the consultant and top level consultant who are into the service management industry, they are basically the ITL master. So the target audience, as I already mentioned, that if every ITL foundation is for everybody, those who are already in job or those who are basically looking for any job in the IT service industry, or the person who are basically working in some other industry and they want to move into the service industry, and also the IT managers and all who are basically into some other segments of IT and but want to move or switch over to the IT services part or support part. This certification or this knowledge is essential for them, because this is the basic you at least know before you move to this service management industry, IT service management industry. Now we'll little bit talk about the examination design, that how Excelos design the ITL for examination. So it's basically a closed book examination and duration is 60 minutes. Yes, there is another clause that Excelos has provided, that if you are taking a non-native language, so you will get this 25% extra time. But I would suggest not to consider for that. We should consider it for this is a 60-minute exam and it's a closed book examination. Now the question type, there is 40 questions, all of them mainly MCQ type or better to say the objective type, and each worth of 1 mark, and there is no negative marking for that. Okay, this is a good thing that you if you make one question wrong, so it will not deduct any right marks or from you. That's a good thing. And you need to the passing score is 65%. That means you have to correct at least 26 question out of 40 to get the certificate. Next, we'll discuss the type of questions. Like this OTQ means objective type question. This is the abbreviation I have used over here. So there are basically 4 types of question types I'm talking about. You can see in this ITIL examination, foundation examination. Number is first one is the standard question. So one question, there is 4 options. One option is right. You have to choose the right option to make it correct. That is simple. Second is negative standard question. So it's basically gives you this consistive a negative situation. Negative situation is basically consistent negative situation. Here you can see which is not a defined area of value. So those who are basically looking for this certification, I request you read the question very carefully. If this kind of this words are present over there, it's a negative standard objective type question. So you have to choose your answer accordingly. Otherwise, you can land up with the wrong answer. This list OTQ, list objective type question, more than one option can be correct. For example, this is a statement is given. There is 4 option and you have to choose one from A, B, C, D. Okay, these are the options you have to choose. These are the possibilities they have proven. It might happen that one or more possibilities can be true, but here it is very obvious that more than one possibilities can be correct because each and every option has two choice, like either one and two, two or three or four, or one or four. So you have to read the question properly, apply your knowledge. I mean, whatever knowledge you acquired during this training session, as well as your further study, and you have to choose your answer. You have to find out what could be the possible correct answer, and you have to choose it. So this is the list OTQ objective type question. And another last is basically a missing word. You will find this either a dash or exclamatory sign over here. It will ask you to for a specific keyword. It gives you basically a definition. There is one keyword missing. You have to identify the keyword for that missing place. So this type of question you can see in this ITIL foundation exam. And this is basically the learning outcome. However, I would suggest that it's just a this a approximate weight, and it's based on some this research and study put over here. But it might vary sometime. I'm not saying it's very every time, but it might vary sometime because when the exam starts, you don't know that from where you will get which type of question. But one thing you just make sure that Excellus will ask you question only from the foundation topic. It will not ask you any topic from outside of the foundation syllabus like expert or some other thing. Definitely they will not going to do that. But from this segment, you can get any number of questions. But usually we see from the study, if you check even in the internet, that is basically this percentage or number of questions you can expect from those areas, and that which we will cover in the subsequent modules. So these are all about this ITIL foundation basic and everything. I mean, for the introduction part. So if you have any question, feel free to ask me.
Thank you, thank you for the valuable information. And I would request the users, all the listeners here, would please raise or text your questions in the message so that we can ask and clarify the questions. And please, no question is a dumb question. Please do ask any questions you require, and we are happy to answer those questions. Thank you. And we
Yeah,
will wait
definitely.
another 1 or 2 minutes here,
Thanks, Sanju.
please.
Thanks, Sanju, for the. Yeah, the Priya has asked us which materials to refer. Yes, Priya. One thing I would suggest that today is for the introduction class. That's why I just have not, this tell you to do one thing, but not to only you, but every participant. So there is a ground rule for this training. I would like to add over here. So whenever this training, I mean, this is not for this training. Actually, I use it for the all of my training. So it is the best practices I follow. So for every participant, it's a humble request that when you just going to join the training, you should have the four checklist. Number one, you should keep a pen and paper handy to you. Though I'm going to share all the reference links, documents, even the book, which book you have to refer for your foundation examination. I will tell you at the end of this course. No issues about that. but I expect you to write few important keynotes. Why? Because it will not only help you to this in the foundation exam, just for the quick recap, and but it also helps you for your job interview, because before the day before your job interview, if you just go through it, it will definitely gives you a this quick recap. It will help you to quick recap. So that's why I'm just